brothers and sisters? This is your brother G World 7_D. Now I have this book by UNESCO. Okay, and remember, UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization. Right. And right here is the general history of Africa. The first methodology in African prehistory. Right. And so what I'm going to do is going to first turn to page 51. I want you to pick up on certain things that I'm going to tell you. I'm going to connect certain things for you. Because this is, we got to really learn our history instead of allowing clowns to say that you're slaves from Africa. Okay, this right here is the prehistory of the Sahara. Okay. The Sahara is now a vast desert covering the greater part of North Africa. It is not easy to define either its limits or its characteristics, but aridity is the factor common to all its various regions, stretching 5,700 kilometers from east to west between the Red Sea and the Atlantic, and 1,500 kilometers from north to south between the pre-Saharan Atlas and the Sudanic Sahel. Desert conditions now cover an area of nearly 8.6 million square kilometers. Yet the Sahara, as we know it today, has changed considerably since prehistoric times. The migration of peoples who lived in the region can be ascribed to the increasingly dry and hot climate, which resulted in sparser rainfall and in the drying up of the springs and rivers. This, in turn, was responsible for the disappearance of the animal and plant life, providing substance for the population, which was forced to move back to the fringes of the desert, where conditions were more clement. Okay, I'm going to go turn to page 284. I'm going to read something out of there right quick, out of this book. Okay, 284. African prehistoric art. Okay, African prehistoric art. You can see it, or I can get it in clear. Let that little shade up and get that shade to get out of the way. African prehistoric art. And I'm going to read right here. One reason for this proliferation of art in Africa's desert and steppes is that in prehistoric times, Africa was the most densely populated continent of the planet, especially in those regions that have now become arid. Moreover, the dry air in those regions helped to preserve human artifacts over periods lasting for thousands of years, while the cliffs overhanging the valleys deep within the mountain ranges or on their fringes provide dwelling places that were easy to defend and to keep supplies with water and game. Okay. Let's see this. Now I'm going to go to page 296. Okay, in this picture you see what they call the white lady. That was nonsense, okay? You see an individual and you see cattle. Alright, this is what you call individuals herding cattle. The cow herder, quote, the cow man, the cowboy. They were herding cattle. Just like you see in Rawhide. These individuals in prehistoric times were herding cattle. And these rock art paintings. Alright, now once you look at this rock art painting right here. See the Negro with the bow and arrow? On the rock art painting. See in this book, in the very book, the Negro with the bow and arrow. Alright? Look at the bow and arrow. I'm going to go to the book, Wars in America. A compilation of Wars in America. Alright? Showing this book. And I'm going to go to page, let's say, 93 or 73. I'm going to go one of these damn pages. 1 second. I'm going to try to find a page. I want to show you something that you need to pick up on. This is why, when you start really studying history, you pick up a lot of stuff, man. You've been lied to. Heavily lied to. Alright? These are pictures of the same type of pictures you see of the bow and arrow. These are Negroes in California. Alright, these are Aboriginal blacks that were in California. Alright? I'm going to go back to the picture from Africa. See that bow and arrow stance? Our people were great archers. All right, so they were done this globally. All right, I'm gonna go back to here. You see this? Now this is a painting that was done on the Aboriginal blacks in California. Now these are Negroes in southern Mexico. Now look at them. These are Negroes in southern Mexico with that stand. That same stand, that bow and arrow. They got the bow and the arrow. But these Negroes right here, they look like those Negroes that you find in southern Africa, those hunter and gatherers, man. They look just like them. They also look like those short little diminutive Negroes in the Philippines and them short Negroes that you find in, what you know, on the Andaman Islands. Because these are the original people who populated the earth. I want you to notice this. These are the original Negroes. These are your original Mexicans right here. Not the mestizos. These people right here. And a lot of the mestizos may have that mixture of these diminutive blacks up right here that you find because they're very short. A lot of Mexicans you are very short. And this ancient gene for these black folks here, they may still have that in them. But these black people were, quote, bred it out. Some might have migrated out, or many were killed, and some of them might just went into other areas and mixed with other groups. But they were so many instances bred it out that when you look at the Mexicans today, the one, they don't have their color, but they have their diminutive height. All right, and then you look at some of those early images of the people who built those mounds, where they were of a diminutive stature, a shorter stature. These Negroes populated Earth, like the little people of the Philippines, the little people I said in the Andaman Islands. These little short diminutive Negroes populated the planet. You see, they went over to Australia. These little diminutive Negroes did that. But also these little diminutive Negroes knew how to build, later on develop boats and ships. There were some who were, I guess, more primitive than others, if you want to use the term primitive, less advanced than others. Others were more advanced than some of these other groups. So you had the little diminutive Negroes who were very highly advanced, shipbuilders and sailors like the original Vikings were. And then you had these other diminutive Negroes who were more primitive, or you just call it less advanced. So I want you to notice this. This is in Mexico. And then there you see them images in the Philippines with the little diminutive Negroes there. This is California. I want you to know to pick up a saint, man. You know it's the bow and arrow. This is Africa, rock art painting. All right. I mentioned before how the Sahara Desert dried up, all right, and how you knew that the area that once was fertile plants, trees, and water, because the rock art painting would show the people hunting for animals that are no longer there, going in the water, fishing in the water. Also, buried deep in the desert, you found skeletons of animals who were extinct, as well as NASA satellite photos that show you that once water, large bodies of water once existed. When you look at the ridges and the images from the satellite photos, it will show you buried deep under the sand that was water was once there, but it dried up. But also geologists went there and they put a large pipeline deep down. There's water still deep under the sand. I'm telling you this now, is that your ancestors traveled the damn globe. What I just did was try to connect dots and showing you that people traveled all the globe, and you see those images. They're very, very similar with that bow and arrow. Those diminutive Negroes populated the world. This is what bothers me is these goofy Pan-Africans, people like Umar Johnson, a lot of these people, these so-called video creators on YouTube, they're not doing real research. If they were to do real research, they'll know that the original people who populated here in America were diminutive black people, Aboriginal Negroes, very diminutive, shorter stature Negroes, if you really did your research. But these Negroes don't do that because they going by what white folks have told them, or going by old Negro scholars who went by what white folks told them. You cannot go by what white folks tell you. That is the problem. Remember I showed you with the shield, one shield with the X, other shield with the stars. That was done by those black people in Europe. All right, and that looks very similar. You put them together, you get the Confederate flag. Also, you look at the structures, the castles that was built, castles over here in Europe, using those casings, those brick casings. Those white folks did not have the technology. The Negroes built that over in Africa, they built that here. Then later on, white folks took over something that the Negroes had abandoned or the blacks had abandoned. When you walk around these cities, you still see your ancient structures here. But many of us have, like I said, we've been conditioned to view ourselves as just coming over here as African slaves, which is ridiculous. I talked about the Ogeechee River, and you have the quote Geechee people, the Ogeechee River, the Geechee people. These were the same Negroes, man. These were Indians that were already here. These weren't African slaves. I don't know. There's so much information out there for you to obtain. You gotta get out this mess that you were just a slave from Africa. That's why I'm giving you these tools, man, these pointers, and showing you the similarity, and showing you who the original people were here. And I'm giving you my sources, but I'm also showing you stuff beyond just showing you, quote, my sources. I'm giving you my analysis, and I'm connecting the dots. And that's what you have to do, connect the dots to this history. You gotta stop saying you're the descendants of African slaves, because we're not that. We are the true Aboriginal Indians of America. Alright? If you don't want to use the term Indian, that's fine. We are the original people of America. We are the original bloodline of America. Our home is here. It's not necessarily no damn Africa. It's here in America. We are the first people, the descendants of the first people here. And I just connected dots in so many ways. I showed you the pre-Saharan black folks. I showed you California. Alright, and I just showed you in southern Mexico, the Negroes in that same bow and arrow stands, because of that same diminutive Negro populated the damn planet first. Peace and love, brothers and sisters.